Good to see you. Hello, everybody. I think we'll be fine. I just pressed it. Everybody? There we go. Yes. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Please come on in if you are outside. We are going to be getting started in just a moment here. So please come on in. And we're asking for all the faith leaders and elected leaders to please come up here, along with the youth, the MAYF youth, the youth who are members of this community of the Muslim American Youth Foundation. Please come up here. And we will get started in just a minute. This one? Okay. Got it. Testing, 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 1, 2. Testing, testing. Dr. Yahya? Hello, everybody. Welcome. We are going to go ahead and get started now. If you are outside getting food, please come on inside. We're going to go ahead and start the program. Thank you to every single person, to every single one of you for joining us here today. My name is Anila Abzali, and I am the Executive Director of the American Muslim Empowerment Network at MAPS, the Muslim Association of Puget Sound, which is the largest Islamic center in the state of Washington. And I want to start by acknowledging the land that we are on, belonging to the first peoples of this country, and also recognize that we are on sacred land as well, and recognize that we are seeing a convergence right now of a number of different holidays, including Holi, which is coming up on March 18th, the Persian Nowruz or New Year on March 21st, and tonight, which is Purim as well for our Jewish siblings. So Chag Purim Sameach to our Jewish brothers and sisters. And we do apologize that given all the various holidays, it's hard to find a date and time that works for everybody, but we know we have the support of our Jewish siblings as well as people from all faith backgrounds who are here with us today. Before I continue with some of the rest of my own remarks, I want to make sure I give the opportunity to Governor Jay Inslee to come up and say a few words, because he and First Lady Trudy unfortunately have to leave for some diplomatic business, I can say. But we are so grateful to him and First Lady Trudy for joining us today and also meeting with mosque leadership before this event, this public event. So with that, I'm going to welcome Governor Jay Inslee and say thank you so much for being the kind of leader that Washington needs.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening. Neela, thank you for your leadership. It is an honor to be invited to this event. Trudy and I are here to tell you why I'm so happy to be here. Number one, I am in my favorite kind of building in the world, which is a gymnasium where you can shoot baskets. And someday I hope to come back and shoot a few hoops with some great Muslim American youth. That's number one. But number two, I love to be with a group of people who are united in a cause, all for one at the same time. And we are here today to say that an assault on anyone, including Muslim Americans in the state of Washington, is an assault on everyone in the state of Washington. And we will not accept. We know that these assaults have been occasioned too frequently. I have now joined Anila and others and the other imams, and now unfortunately multiple places where we have had people try to strike fear in this community. Well, I know this community is strong, and we want it to be stronger because we want to know this community that 7.5 million Washingtonians are in this gymnasium tonight with you, arm in arm, wrapping our arms around you, telling you that you are not alone. And all of the people who will speak tonight, Nick Brown, our U.S. Attorney, Dal Constantine, Sarah Parra from the King County Council, every governmental agency in the state of Washington is going to do everything possible to protect you in the days to come. You deserve that, and you're going to have that. So I'm happy to say, so we will be working arm in arm on every way we can to help the mission of this facility, and this is a beautiful facility. I love the idea of Muslim youth coming together and even non-Muslim youth forming friendships in a court instead of out stealing hubcaps. This is a really good thing for our youth. And these kids are the future of the state of Washington. And when they have a chance to get to know each other and recreate and work on their health, that's a good thing for everybody in the state of Washington. I grew up in White Center. I hung around at the Red Shield Boys and Girls Club. And those are my happiest days. We want Muslim youth having their happiest days right here in this gymnasium. We're going to make sure that happens. Good luck to us all. Take care. Go in peace.
Thank you so very much, Governor and First Lady Trudy. We know you have to leave now, but your words and presence mean so much to the community to know that they have the support of the highest level of leaders in our beautiful state. I also want to again ask the MAYF youth to please come up here. We see you back there. Come on up. We want to have you up here. This is your facility, so please don't be shy. Come on up. Come join us up here if you can. And specifically, if Brother Muad can come up here for the Quran recitation, I would really appreciate that. Come on up. As he and the other youth are coming up here, I want to also acknowledge that today is the anniversary of the murders of 8 people, including 6 Asian women, massage workers at spas in the Atlanta area. And yesterday was the anniversary of the New Zealand church massacre that killed 51 people. And just in the last year, we have had attacks on over a dozen different places of worship, including Islamic centers, a Sikh center, Black churches, Catholic churches, and a Jewish relief organization. This is simply unacceptable. This is the broader context in which this attack on MAYF occurred. And this attack on MAYF, you're going to hear about it and what exactly happened here, this hit and run incident. But I want to again emphasize that this is first and foremost a youth center. And we want to uplift the youth and give them the safety and protection and sense of support and solidarity that they absolutely deserve. And this building has been owned by MAYF for less than a year. And already they have faced this kind of attack. But I will tell you, it doesn't matter how much people may hate. We don't know if it was hate-based or not, but it doesn't matter. What we do know is our love, our unity, our solidarity will always outweigh that. And this beautiful showing of support and solidarity from all of you makes it explicitly clear that we stand together and we will love and protect each other. And with that, I'm going to ask Brother Muad, 10-year-old Muad, to come up and do a Quran recitation to get us started.
Salam, everyone. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى. يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله يتقاكم إن الله عليم خبير. O humanity, indeed we created you from a male and a female, and made you into nations and tribes, so that you may get to know one another. Surely the most noble of you in the sight of God is the most righteous among you. God is truly all-knowing, all-aware. Thank you all.
Thank you so very much, dear Muad. If you don't mind, please stay up here. We'd love to have you join the youth up here. They are shy, but it's okay. The support and love from the community is hopefully going to take away their shyness. But with that, I now want to introduce Dr. Yahya Sufi, who is the executive director here at MAYF, and welcome him to the stage.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Hello everyone and welcome. I'm very, very excited and my heart is filled to see that you are here today. My name is Yahya Sufi. I'm the Imam and the executive director of this facility, the MAYF Center. And on last week, on Monday, at 9 a.m., as I usually do, I was sitting in the office getting ready for my daily task. And all of a sudden, I heard a huge blast. And I didn't know where this is coming from. And I took a few moments to just look at myself. Am I okay to begin with? And I realized I'm all in one piece, right? Of the building, and I couldn't find anything around me. Then, I told myself there's nothing happened, but I could hear the blast. But I said, let me take a moment to patrol the building. The first thing that I get to see is you see this huge facility. We only have two small spaces that we, establish our prayers on a daily basis. To find someone just to hit a car into the prayer space out of this huge facility that you see, that was a shocking for me. And from there on, I was able to communicate with the officials and made the report. But to be frank with you, my brothers and sisters in humanity, today, I am not here to talk about hate. I'm here to emphasize love. And I wanted to make sure that whoever had the ill intent to come and intentionally hit our building, we don't know what the intention behind it, but we know it was deliberately done. But if they thought that they will just put fear into our heart, they just create allies and friends for us. They made us feel that evil cannot stand against good. And because of you, because of all of you are here today, that tomorrow I feel safe and secure to come back to my office. For the past 8 days, I was not reporting to the office as I usually come early morning. I was not feeling, I was still in shock. But today when I see this mass gathering from people of other faith, from, diverse community, then this makes me feel, including the officials in the higher level, in having the governor and having, our representatives, it's amazing. That makes me feel that now I'm secured. And I wanted to tell the youth that, listen, we're not alone. You see, we have everyone that you see here, and we thank you all for making it today. And thank you, everyone, for coming, and thank you, everyone, for your support. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you so much, Dr. Yahya, and you are absolutely right. They will never destroy our spirit, our resilience, our faith, our unity, our solidarity. All of these will grow each time we have these kinds of instances. So any kind of hate will actually backfire because they will bring us closer and closer together with each other. And with that, I now want to introduce the new Port of Seattle Commissioner, Hamdi Mohammed, who is also a member of this congregation. Hamdi.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Hamdi Mohammed, and I'm here today as a Port of Seattle Commissioner, as well as the Director of the Office of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs. Assalamu alaikum wa kulla ya haydaman teen, the Somali community that's here when you will the salama ya. I'm here today to stand in solidarity with our Muslim community in South King County, to stand in solidarity with the Muslim American Youth Foundation. This is a space that is for our youth, and we are committed to protecting it. This was a community center that really was built on love, hope, and faith. I came to this space maybe over 8 months ago when Sheikh Yahya invited me into the space, and I was really, really shocked at just how beautiful this room is. All of these rooms are. Walking through this facility, I thought about being a young teenager and how I would have loved to have a space like this in our community. I came to this country as a refugee from Somalia when I was 3 years old. And these sort of spaces are spaces young kids dream of. Spaces where the governor is saying, I want to hoop and play ball in this space. Those are the type of spaces we need for our community. We need for our young people to be able to study, to be able to build community, and to feel like they can come here at any hour of the day and feel safe. And what happened this last week is so unfortunate. It's unfortunate that our Sheikh is saying he did not feel safe coming here in the last 8 days. Sheikh Yahya, we commit to you that we will stand by you every single day to ensure that this space is safe for you and our youth. You know, it's really unfortunate that the hate crimes that are happening in our state is not only happening to the Muslim community, it's happening to our Asian brothers and sisters. We've seen our Asian brothers and sisters and elders being attacked. We see our Jewish community centers being attacked, cemeteries being vandalized. And unfortunately, it's unbelievable that is what we are here today in this capacity here to fight against that. But I will say that there is no place for hate and violence in our community, and we are committed to standing with you. As elected officials, we will make sure that we do what we can to invest in these spaces, to invest in making sure that hate crimes are appropriately reported, and that we're investing in those research as well. And so we commit to that, and we'll be here not only in times of pain, but in celebration. I'm so excited for what Ramadan is gonna hold for us. We're gonna come here and celebrate with you, Sheikh Yahya, and all of these amazing young people that are here today. Thank you all for the time. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Mohammed. I'm so proud to be able to say that. And with that, I'm now going to ask to hear from some of the places that have also faced attack beyond the MAYF Center. And we'll start first with the Islamic Center of Olympia. And for that, I'm going to ask the president, Kareem, to please join us up here and share a few words about what happened at the Islamic Center of Olympia for those of you who may not know.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. I'm very pleased to be here. It's shocking that we are in 2022 and we still have this kind of attacks. We have had our own attack in the Islamic Center of Olympia about 4 months ago. Somebody just thought it was cool, I think, to pass by and with a car and dropped a device. We don't know what it was, and exploded. And thankfully, it didn't do anything. It just made us stronger. It just made us love people more and just made us more comfortable that we have more people coming to support us. In fact, in Olympia, we have had this group of interfaith people from all over faith who are coming and supporting us for the last 5 years, every single Friday. We have never seen anybody dedicated, as committed, as dedicated, and as loyal. So thank you. Let us all be friends and brothers and sisters in humanity. Let us not let anything else to divide us. In fact, there are some guy, he said, watch your words, because watch your thoughts, because your thoughts become your words, and watch your words because your words become your behavior. Watch your behavior because your behavior become your character. So therefore, we need to watch our thoughts. That way, we get rid of the hate that we have. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Words become action. And that's why we want to make sure our words of love and unity and solidarity are far louder than the words of hate or disunity and division. Next, we have somebody from the Islamic Center of Tacoma. Brother Nasser, is your son here who's going to speak? Okay, there we go. All right. The Islamic Center of Tacoma, as you probably had heard, had an arson at their facility. Come on up, brother.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. As most people know, on past October, someone came right before Isha prayer and tried to set the masjid on fire, or actually did set the masjid on fire while people were inside the masjid. A lot of our brothers and my family members were inside the masjid as the masjid was burning. And subhanAllah, if it wasn't for the people that were passing by to warn them that the masjid was on fire, maybe some of them would have been lost. So like I said, and now everyone around us say that it's the unity that will make us stronger. It is the people around us. It is the people from different colors, races, backgrounds, religions, and different social statuses. If we come together, by Allah, we will be stronger. Jazakumullah khair.
And I will also add that the community in Tacoma, the Muslim community that would go to the Islamic Center of Tacoma, they're actually now going to pray at the Tacoma Community College. That's where they're holding their daily prayers and their Friday congregational prayers. And other churches and places of worship stepped up and offered their places as well for the Muslim community to be able to continue their religious worship. And that's a beautiful sign of unity and support, and we appreciate all who helped make that happen. Next, we're going to hear from another community that has faced targeting, and this is the Sikh community. The Sikh community is often confused or mistaken for Muslims, and they often face attack as well. And we want to welcome Brother Hira Bular to come up here and say a few words about what happened at their center.
Assalamu alaikum, good evening, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. My name is Hira Singh, I'm a member of Sikh community. Primarily, we have a institute called Khalsa Gurmat Center. So really, I'm happy to see, as the governor said, I'm really happy to see this place. I wish we could have built same thing too. And we run an institute in Federal Way where we have it's a school. We run Sunday school. Last year, September 17th, somebody break in that facility. Don't know the motive of that person was. He just destroyed almost everything, especially the prayer area. As Sikh community, we pray Guru Granth Sahib, which is our main guru, and that area, he just completely vandalized it. And it was, money-wise, not a big damage, but the damage was on hearts. Like, especially we are with the kids, and especially those kids were much impacted. So that's the part where the hate gives us, like, and I think it's other way around. This hate gives us unity too, because whatever this person who hit here was trying to do, don't know if he's successful in his purpose too or not, but he unites us here. So, as on the behalf of Sikh community, I'm here with standing with my Muslim brothers and sisters, and especially the youth. I really like the youth standing here, and that's our future. And really, I like these efforts. The community is working for the youth. So, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Brother Hira. We definitely stand with our Sikh sisters and brothers and with all of our various communities that face these kinds of attacks. I also want to say that in addition to the ones you heard about, just to give you a sense of this, because I know this, but maybe not everybody in the community might not know this. But we had this attack on MAYF. We had November 23rd, the explosive at the Islamic Center of Olympia. On October 24th, there was a fire at St. Charles Borromeo Catholic Parish in Tacoma. On October 19th, there was the break-in and attack at the Montlake Terrace Mosque. On October 11th, of course, was the fire, the arson at the Islamic Center of Tacoma. On October 10th, we had vandalism at St. Edward's Church in Seattle. September 21st, there was an aggravated assault on a Buddhist nun at a Buddhist temple. On September 17th, there was the break-in that you just heard about from Brother Hira at the Khalsa Gurmat Center in Federal Way. September 12th, there was an arson at the Greater Christ Temple Church in Tacoma. In August, there was vandalism at the St. Benedict Catholic Church in Seattle. July 23rd, there was a suspicious fire that destroyed the New Life Baptist Church in Tacoma. And July 2nd, there was vandalism at St. James Cathedral in Seattle. That gives you a sense of the number of attacks on places of worship. And it is not acceptable. And this is why we were very happy in our meeting with the governor right before this, that he agreed to look into creating a statewide task force or working group to explore this that would include members of different faith communities, along with law enforcement and more, to figure out what is going on, but then also what more can we do? And again, we will use each one of these instances as a way to bring the community together. And I'm sorry, I actually just realized that I forgot that there was also vandalism at the Jewish Family Services recently as well, I think last month. So this is unacceptable, but we will build stronger every single time. And with that, I want to invite Elise DeGoyer, who's the executive director of the Faith Action Network, FAN. FAN is actually one of the sponsors of tonight's program, along with, of course, MAYF, the Muslim American Youth Foundation, along with MAPS Amen, American Muslim Empowerment Network. And we also have the Paths to Understanding and Church Council of Greater Seattle that are putting on the event tonight. But this event is really all of you, all of us coming together. And with that, I'm going to turn over to Elise to share a few words on behalf of FAN.
Thank you, Anila, and all who hosted us tonight. I'm honored to stand with you tonight alongside these wonderful faith leaders who show up for each other each time something like this happens, as well as government leaders and members of the Siberian community. Together, we know the power of community, right? But I lament and I feel aggrieved that we have to stand like this again. One more time, bearing witness to violence against our neighbors. My heart goes out to the Muslim American Youth Foundation, your leadership, your members, and especially the youth and families who call this place home or sacred space. Faith Action Network works across the state with the multi-faith communities advocating for social justice and public policy that will make Washington more safe for everyone. For over 10 years, we have stood too many times in this way for acts of violence at mosques, synagogues, gurdwaras, churches, and other sacred spaces. Just this year, as Anila mentioned, the uptick of violence against faith communities has been alarming. We've heard from faith leaders all across the state about their concerns over threats in their communities, their fear at the divisions and othering that is happening all along the I-5 corridor, across the I-90 corridor, in both urban and rural places. I also join you as a mom tonight, one who used to drive her son to high school here in Burien. I'm thinking of you who are parents, dropping your children off at youth centers like this, trusting that they will be safe, hoping to create community and a sense of belonging for them. With this same hope and love for your children, you founded the center over a year ago. And we pray tonight with the support of community that your center will continue to thrive. I want to end affirming the spirit of love that brings us together and helps us see each other as neighbor. Holding the safety of our neighbors and especially our children as important as the safety of our own. This is how we build the power of community. Standing together, there is no room for violence. There is no room for acts of bias or hate in our communities. As the beloved Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh, who recently died, reminded us, Earth will be safe when we feel in us enough safety. Wishing you safety and blessings tonight.
Thank you so very much, Elise, for those words. And it is powerful to remember ourselves and specifically to remember ourselves or put ourselves in the position of parents and having kids in a place like this and making sure that those places and spaces remain safe, healthy, and hopeful, full of hope. We definitely need that. And I also want to acknowledge, you can see some of them here, all the incredible faith leaders who are with us today, the ones standing up here, the ones in the audience. Let's give them a round of applause for sure. And I will also add that they show up every time I've called them in these kinds of instances. I know that they will show up. They answer that call, rain or shine, indoors or outdoors, doesn't matter which community is targeted, they show up. And we're grateful to them. We're grateful for all of you showing up because there's so much power in that. We may not be able to stop all hate and violence, but again, when we come together like this, we create something different. We create a beautiful energy that does actually soothe the soul and replace some of that sense of safety or security that might have been violated. So we're very, very grateful to all of you. And we're very grateful for the elected leaders who showed up today as well. We need, yes, we can give them a round of applause. We need their voices. We need them to use their platforms to minimize, to end, to sort of convey a different message, convey the message of us here tonight together. And we also need law enforcement to investigate these cases, to use support that they can get from the community and figure out sort of what the motive is, because we don't know what the motive is in a case like this yet. I don't want us to jump to conclusions that it was a hate crime. That is in the hands of law enforcement. And with that, I'm very proud to introduce the next speaker, who is our new United States Attorney for the Western District, Nick Brown. He's also a friend, and we went to law school together, and I have some stories, but I will share those another time.
Good evening. We'll save those stories for a later day. My name is Nick Brown, the United States Attorney for the Western District of Washington. I want to thank everyone for coming here this evening. Thank you to the Imam and all of the members of this community for allowing me to speak very briefly. I want to let everybody know that as United States Attorney, I am committed to doing everything that we can to make sure that people can gather in peace, can pray in peace, and can have fellowship in peace. And when there is a threat to that peace, the United States Department of Justice will investigate and prosecute and hold those people accountable. It is incredibly important that everyone here know and everyone in this community know there is a rise in hate crimes across this country and across this district. But as hate crimes rise, so too must we rise. Rise together in friendship as brothers and sisters, as neighbors, and rise to meet that challenge. As hate spreads, we must spread our influence and our resolve. And as fear spreads, we must spread our love, because that is the way we ultimately tackle the challenges before us. But we will do everything as a department, working with our law enforcement partners, and I want to thank the members of the FBI who are here this evening as well, to investigate attacks like happened here at MAYF and all the other jurisdictions that you've heard about this evening. This is something that we will work on every single day as long as I am United States Attorney, to make sure that these people are held accountable for the conduct that they've brought here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Nick. Appreciate you being here and sharing those words and following through on those words as well, which is really important. I want to next, before we move to our next speaker, I do want to acknowledge some of the other law enforcement that have shown up today as well. We've had Knight Soar of the Department of Justice, Ryan Brewitt, Supervisory Special Agent in charge of the FBI Seattle Field Office. The Burien Police Chief couldn't make it, but sends his support. CSO Michiko Wilson and Detective Carlos Marquezo, among other law enforcement that have shown up to say, we're here to actually protect you. And next, we're going to hear from King County Executive Dow Constantine to hear a few words from him. Thank you.
Thank you, Anila, and thank you and good evening. Thank you for being here. I am honored to be here today to stand with you to strongly condemn these acts of vandalism, these hate crimes that have occurred throughout our region over the course of the last several months. King County is determined to be a place where all are welcome and every person has the opportunity to thrive. That is our true north that we have adopted for this entire government. A place where the strength and unity of our community comes from the solid foundation of pluralism and diversity and a shared respect for the dignity of every single person. These heinous and cowardly acts are unacceptable. They are unacceptable anywhere in this world, anywhere in this country, and I will tell you that they are absolutely unacceptable in King County, and our administration stands in solidarity with our Muslim neighbors. That is why I want to say to you unequivocally that King County will not tolerate acts of hate or bias. Not in Burien, not in Redmond, not in Federal Way, not in Seattle, not anywhere. The King County Sheriff's Office is working with the FBI to get to the truth here, to investigate absolutely thoroughly, and they will investigate this incident and any other incident that smacks of a hate crime. We will leave no stone unturned, and they're tremendously committed to that mission. Through ongoing community partnership and collaboration, we will continue to do the work necessary to make King County that community I described, a community where every person is welcome, where every person's dignity is respected, where every person has the opportunity to fulfill their potential in this life. So thank you. Thanks to the faith leaders who are standing up tonight. Thank you for your continued leadership and partnership. And thank you for inviting me here tonight to humbly and determinedly stand with our Muslim neighbors. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Executive Constantine. And you are another one who, when we have called on you, you have showed up. And we appreciate you creating this, helping create this welcoming environment in all of the county. I want to also acknowledge that we have some other leaders here as well. I don't know if Senator Saldana, she said she was going to be a few minutes late. Hopefully she's here. She might be in the back someplace. We certainly have Representative Tina Orwell here as well. We have King County Council members Sarah Perry and Dave Upthegrove as well. And we have city leadership here too, from Burien and beyond. And with that, I actually want to invite Council Member and former Mayor Jimmy Mata up here, along with Council Member Sarah Moore and Council Member Sidney Moore, to join him up here on stage if you can.
Assalamu alaikum. Buenas tardes. And if I knew another language, I would greet you with another language. I'm here with my colleagues and the mayor of Burien, Mayor Aragon, and the deputy mayor and Schilling, and Mr. Councilmember Garcia send their regards. They're in DC, making sure they're representing us as a city in Washington, DC on policies. But Iman, I share, it's not necessarily fear, but concern. You know, I was a victim of a crime in the city, and when that happened, it was something that unless you go through it, you don't know what it does to you and what it does to a community. And I want to apologize to the Muslim community, because that's not the kind of city we're building here in Burien. The elected officials that stand here before you today are building a Burien of being inclusive, of being a place where our children can thrive with their education, to make sure that when you walk down the streets, that you feel safe and that you are safe. You know, I'm so happy to have been born in this country and to be the child of an immigrant family. Yesterday and this morning, I seen what occurs in a society that their freedom is trying to be taken away through bombs and killings, like what's happening to our brothers and sisters in Ukraine. We cannot allow that kind of fear to occur, not in a small community like Burien or any corner in the world. You know, religion is an important belief. You know, when I was growing up, I had the ability to become whatever religion I wanted to in America. And that's the America we're building. You know, youth and children, I don't know what it is to be born and be raised in my parents' country, Guatemala. Guatemala and Central America went through civil war, just like some of you who come to this country and your countries have gone through civil war. And what we want is an America for our children to be able to go to college and to not be fearful of bombs or have the stories of starvation or hunger or fear. And brother, I stand with you. When I got that call, it's like I got a call from my family telling me that something happened at my home. This facility here is very important and near and dear not only to me and to the council, but I remember when the dream came to my office and said, we want to build a community in Burien. And I said, well, where can we find that property? And we worked hard to make sure that that happened. And Burien is building a community that will be really the model. We have the Italian Cultural Center. We have the Latino Civic Center. It's about to open. See, we're moving towards that dream that a great leader in this country, Martin Luther King, said, that he had a dream. And that dream is what brought my parents to this country. And I can assure you that as long as I'm an elected official and my colleagues here, we are going to make sure that every single stone is turned to make sure that we come to the bottom of what happened at this facility that day. I want to thank the Burien Police Department, our staff that's here today. I have full faith in our police department in the county that will get to the bottom of this. I want to thank you very much. Maalaikum salam.
Muchas gracias. This is the kind of support that we need and the kind of beautiful diversity as well. And I understand that as mayor, Jimmy Mata helped get this building for the community. So we're grateful to him for that. I also want to acknowledge that we have the Bothell Deputy Mayor, Rami Al-Kabra, here with us as well. And I believe the Tukwila Council member, Mohammed Abdi, is here too, but I could be wrong on that. So we do have certainly the Highline School District. We have Lita O'Donnell. And from Highline High School, we have Assistant Principal Maurice Henning as well here. So thank you for joining us. And I'm going to now ask for the call to prayer to happen. Do we have somebody who's doing the adhan? Okay, while they figure out who's going to do the call to prayer, I also want to acknowledge that we have some other special guests as well. Specifically, Palmyra Figueroa, who is here on behalf of Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal, along with Sul Abdirahman from Congresswoman Jayapal's office. Thank you for joining us. And I want to say Congresswoman Jayapal, besides being an advocate for the Muslim community, she also submitted a recommendation letter for MAYF to be able to get the center as well. So we're grateful to her for that. And to Glenn Carpenter, who is here from the Representative Adam Smith's office as well. Thank you for being here, all of you. Come on up, Abu Bakr. Please come up here and do the adhan. That way everybody can hear what you're saying. This is the call to prayer that happens in Muslim spaces 5 times a day. And it really just guides us to know when the different prayer times are. We're going to have the evening prayer a little after 7:30. So this is the call to prayer for that specific prayer.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على حي على حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
Thank you so much for providing us that beautiful recitation, brother. For those who don't know the translation, some of the lines are repeated, but the translation is, God is great. I bear witness that there is no God except the one God. I bear witness that Muhammad is the messenger of God. Hurry to the prayer, hurry to success. And then in the morning Adhan call to prayer, there's also a line that says, prayer is better than sleep. And then God is great. There is no God except the one true God. That's the translation of the Adhan. And we will have congregational prayer in the prayer space over there at 7:30. And I will say that the prayer space, the women's prayer space, is where this car rammed into this building. And the glass was shattered. It's the far, from my right, your left, all the way back there. That's where it was hit. But before we go to prayer, I want to invite Dr. Yahya back up here to specifically share some concrete asks, specific action that you can take in solidarity, in support, and what we want to see come out of this kind of meeting tonight.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah again. I really thank you so much, and we truly appreciated your support. On behalf of my community, I thank all the elected officials that made it today and those who could not make it. And I want to attest to that. Council members from Burien have reached out to me, from DC, personally speaking to me. I wanted to thank also, the council members and the mayor, Sofia Argan, Hugo Garcia, and of course, Kevin Schillings, who is very supportive as well. He came many times to this facility. And of course, I wanted to thank former mayor, Jimmy Matter, a very close friend. He was the means and the reason for us to find this facility, because I reached out to him saying, I wanted to find a facility in Burien for my community. And it was what I will do it. So months later, he reached out to me and said, we have one for you. So thank you, Jimmy, again. So my first ask is, in any time that you hear something happens, speak. Share that news with your neighbors. Don't keep it to yourself. Don't keep it to yourself. You have so many allies and friends. That's my first ask. Secondly, my brothers and sisters of the community, know that always you have support around you. Ask for a support when any incident happens and speak to your elected officials. Everyone is there for us. Thirdly, this is a new youth facility. I wanted to take this opportunity and speak directly to all the elected officials. To find this facility was not easy for our community. It was not even in the dream of any of the board members. I remember when we sat together and we lost a small facility, I said, wish the kind of facility that you like to have. None of us in the gathering was about to think to have such facility. But I had to tell the board members, listen, imagine if God was to give you a facility, what do you like? What kind of facility do you like to have? They recorded 20 points. I still have them on my phone. Among those asks of God was, we need to have a facility that has an indoor basketball, a facility that has a swimming pool. The dream came through. So don't always look down, look up. So since we have all the elected officials, I wanted to address the need of my marginalized community to you all. Know that we can barely run this facility. We can barely afford the renovation for this facility. We can barely afford to have the sprinklers installed and all the fire alarms system installed. We need your support. I want you to know that this community, without your support, it will not be able to move from this point. Because I had to travel away from my family, myself, my children. I have 10 kids in this country. All of them are in King County. 3 of them are in UDOP downtown. All my kids, I had to abandon them to travel to 8 different states along with some community members asking for support to actually establish this center. We were able to establish it, but to continue from this point, we wanted to get your support because this is the only Muslim youth center in the entire Washington state and the largest Muslim facility in South King County. If we don't get the support necessary, then what's going to happen is our children will end up in the, behind the bars, and we don't want that to happen. And lastly, go to MAYF.org and be generous. I know some of you have already brought, a donation, and I wanted to really thank the father of Dave, the Upgrove. He's here. His father, Dave called me and he said, my father wants to donate. I said, bring the check along with you. And I wanted to recognize that, and all those who were able to bring the donation. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam. Thank you so much, Dr. Yahya. And just to be clear, this center, as you heard Dr. Yahya say earlier, is open to all youth. It's not just for Muslim youth. So we want to maintain this space for everybody. And I also want to acknowledge the various people who've submitted letters, or Rabbi David Bassior, for instance, on behalf of the Jewish community. We've had other faith leaders. And on the faith leaders, they're always humble. They don't get the attention that others may get sometimes, but they still show up. And again, I really want to acknowledge and recognize so many friends and colleagues who've shown up for that purpose. So thank you. I know Congresswoman Jayapal submitted a letter. We're having others who have submitted letters or will be submitting letters. And we're very, very grateful for all the support that MAYF can get, including, as you heard Dr. Yahya say, specifically through supporting on the website and volunteering to help the center grow into the kind of vision that the leaders have and that we all want to see in our community. And I will also add that another ask is use the opportunity of these convergence of various holidays, including the upcoming month of Ramadan that's going to start April 2nd, to get to know your neighbors, your Jewish neighbors, your Sikh neighbors, your Christian neighbors, your Muslim neighbors, your immigrant refugee neighbors, all your community neighbors. Get to know them. Use that opportunity, because as you heard in the verse of the Quran that Brother Muad recited for us, 10-year-old Muad recited, there is this beauty in our diversity. And we are here to get to know each other, regardless of the different nations and tribes from which we may come. And that's a beautiful lesson for all of us. And tonight is a shining example of exactly that. I also really want to thank some other folks, specifically the people who donated food. There's about a dozen different restaurants. Specifically, we have Snack Euro in Buryan, Moroccan food. We have Zamzam Cafe in Buryan, which is Ethiopian food. Royal Everest in Buryan, which is Indian food. Kaiki's Cafe in Buryan, which is Mexican food. SeaTac Cuisine in SeaTac, that's Somali food. Khatumo in SeaTac, that's Somali food. Kilimanjaro Restaurant and Cafe in SeaTac. Juba in Tukwila, that's Somali food. Lido Restaurant in Tukwila. And then also Zaluo Kismanyo in Tukwila, Somali, and Feiruz and the Abu family for contributing and donating the food for tonight's event. We also want to thank photographers and videographers and the live streamers and the tech people who made all of this possible and are documenting it, including Lupe Carlos, Abdul Khalik Hassan, Abdul Karim, Kalkal, Nabil, Abdul Rahman, Adrian, and more. Thank you for being here to help document tonight's event. And to the sponsors, again, of tonight's event, of course, the Muslim American Youth Foundation, MAPS Amen, FAN, Paths to Understanding, and the Church Council of Greater Seattle. Thank you for putting on this event tonight. Thank you also to the countless volunteers here from MAYF and otherwise who showed up from these various organizations that are sponsoring this org, and others who just stepped up to help out. Thank you to all the elected leaders that joined us, whether they had the opportunity to speak or not. We know we have your support by your presence, and we're grateful for that. Thank you again to the faith leaders, again, for just showing up every single time that we call on you. Thank you to all the speakers. Thank you to the youth, including those that stood up here, even though they were shy or didn't want to. We appreciate you doing so. And again, this is your space, and we are here for you. Yes. We hope that tonight gives you that sense of comfort and love and support from the wider community, because that is something you deserve. That is something every child deserves, and we are here for you. Please, please turn to us, call on us for support, because we will stand with you, and we will make sure that you're safe, your friends are safe, and that you have the kind of place, this kind of space, this sacred space to enjoy recreational activities and religious ones if you choose to. And also, thank you to all of the attendees, every single one of you who joined us today, sometimes on very short notice, who joined us in other instances, standing in solidarity outside this mosque during Friday prayers, the faith leaders who showed up for that, the elected leaders who showed up, the people who showed up for the press conference we held last week. All of that makes a difference. We stand together with you and you with us. We are united in this, and we will build back better and stronger despite the shattered glass that may exist in this building. And I will also say that because Ramadan is coming up, look for opportunities for interfaith iftars. We at MAPS are going to hold one on April 13th. MAYF may be holding one here as well. Be on the lookout and take advantage of those opportunities. And with that, I do want to ask Sheikh Abdul Bari Yahya to do a closing prayer for us, if he is ready and willing. But in the meantime, thank you so very much to all of you. Thank you also for law enforcement for showing up and being here to support. And again, we're going to get to the bottom of this. We are united as a community. We're going to do what we can to make sure that all of us stay strong, stand united, and make sure our narrative of love and peace outweighs any of the divisive rhetoric or actions. Come on up, Sheikh.
We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the best of this world and the hereafter, and to unite our hearts and to keep us strong and united. And we ask that even though there are people, when the worst of humanity commit the worst of atrocities, it also brings out the best in the best of humanity. And we here, we ask that you make us amongst the best of humanity, to spread love and to strengthen our communities, and join us and give us the best of this life and the hereafter. Ameen.
Thank you so much, Sheikh, for those words, those powerful words. I also want to say that I missed a lot of people, I'm sure, in recognizing them. There's so many people to recognize, and I sincerely apologize for the people that I missed. I want to mention specifically Satpal Singh, who comes here as he's one of our Sikh brothers, who comes here regularly as part of this community center, this MAYF Youth Center. Thank you, Dr. Yahya. And I also have been asked if folks who want to stay for a group photo, please come up here together. We understand this is prayer time, so any of the Muslims who need to pray, please feel free to go on to prayer. But everybody else, if you want to come up here for a group photo, we would love to have that. And thank you to the Tacoma Commissioner for being here. Thank you again. I'm going to get all of these notices of different people who are here that I missed, and I sincerely apologize. Okay. Okay. Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, you guys get up front.
I don't know what are we doing this now? We're doing this. I can't remember. You're the one who gave the orders, right? Yeah. So you're the boss. You're the secretary. They are the order. This is the new candidate. Okay. I don't know what they want us to do. Yeah, my son. I need a sign. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, no problem. I kind of got distracted, but I've got a 10 minutes to do this. So I still Yeah. Are we supposed to like all group together?
How are you, sir? I'm very well. Glad to see you.
Stand like this.
Where did you look? Come on, pile up here.
You have the right idea.
Yeah, stand here.
I don't feel like I should be up there.
That's okay. Yeah.
Anila should be up there.
Come on here.
Anila should be up there.
Yeah, she should be here.
Who are we looking at? Over there?
All of them.
Okay.
Everybody, yeah, all of them. I'll step down a little bit.
Oh, please come in. You should come right in the middle here. One more. Once you see his pretty face.
Peace and solidarity.
Good to see you again. Good to see you. How are you? So glad to be invited.
Thank you.
How are you, sir?
Hold on. I can't believe it.
How are you? All right.
I miss you guys. All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
Michael.